Welcome to Butt Radio, BUTT Radio. All butts all the time. It's 72 degrees outside and 69 in my pants. It's probably 89 degrees in my pants.
A little warm today, huh?
It's a little warm in my pants today. Did some squats.
Nice. How many? 20?
A million.
A million squats.
I actually don't know how many squats I did because I was like my warm up, and then I did a half mile. Every half mile I did 15 push presses, and so I did 2 miles. So I did 60 push presses. So
impressed.
That was my workout today.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I worked.
I worked as well, but not that hard.
What do you have to do today?
I started working on the music for next week, and I don't think I'm going to keep what I got today because just
not feeling it.
Never felt right, and so I've done some music for a couple other shows, and so I was messing around with that today. Again, nothing really felt right. So
yeah, I did like your music this week, though. We'll talk about that. Did like it.
Yeah, it was different.
I was feeling it.
It was a little different.
And I don't know what it was, but there was something very familiar with it, but yet I couldn't pinpoint what that was.
Well, what's weird is I spent probably an hour or two adding like just the smallest little tiny things that you'd have to like listen with headphones to the mix. And it's one of those things where I'm like, nobody's going to notice any of this, maybe one or two things, but I will know. That's that perfectionism that we're talking about.
See, now I'm going to have to go back and listen to it with headphones now.
Yeah, I should just, I don't know why I don't just like put each track up for sale every week after I do them. But there's always just one more thing. And things get, since we started the show, it's changed so much. You start going, okay, well, let's do an intro. Okay, let's do this music. Okay, let's add a garage door opening. Let's add a beer can effect. Let's put bumper music in between the ads. So it's constantly evolving. And even in the last few months, a couple of the changes is I started taking and creating a player. So instead of going to the website and just seeing like a picture of the case where people would talk on the blog, I started adding the player. So, if you're at work or whatever, you can just type in truecrimegarage.com and just hit play on the latest episode. You don't even have to worry about where your phone is and I used to do that a lot with the Adam Carolla show when I was at work. Maybe I'd have to be hooked up to my computer with my computer headphones on, and you couldn't, every now and then I'd slip my earbuds under my headphones so I could listen to other podcasts. But so that's one thing that changed. And then we started putting the shows on YouTube pretty much for the last couple months, just sending a feed also to YouTube. So it's just these little things that you go, okay, well, I'll just do this, and then I add the feed now on Facebook. And so you just keep doing these things, and then you go, oh, one more thing to do. It's sometimes too much.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah, but how are you feeling?
Are
you feeling butts? Are you feeling some butts?
Feeling compared to last week, I'm feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. Let's
mute them. They were feeling vommy.
No, feeling good. I would say last week at work, coming back from CrimeCon, I just wasn't feeling it. I was not productive.
You're just tired.
Just tired. Just the whole week just dragged. But Monday came around and it's weird. So we got Augie a few weeks ago, and Augie is 5 a.m. wake up call, or usually between 5 and 6. So,
explain who Augie is.
So Augie is our new 8-month-old Australian Shepherd. He is cute, a very cute dog. Very, he is deaf. So he cannot hear at all. We got him from a rescue here in the Columbus area called Speak for the Unspoken, and they specialize in both deaf and blind dogs.
Mhm.
So they do have a lot of Australian Shepherds. They do have a lot of I'm going to butcher. Is it Catahoula dogs? I forget. I can't remember it called. Yeah.
El Chupacabra.
So we got them
Chupacabra.
from Chupacabras. Yes, they have deaf and blind Chupacabra.
Yeah, and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yes, we got him, and
We don't know if we can let you have a deaf and blind Bigfoot.
oh, that might that might be a little dangerous.
Woke up feeling dangerous.
So yeah, so we got him. So Augie's been great, but he definitely likes to get up at between 5 and 6 to get fed and to be let out. So at first a little rough, but I don't know. Monday, like 5 a.m., he woke me up, and I got right up, went outside, took him for a walk, and strangely enough, I feel like I've had more energy since getting up a little earlier, getting moving a little faster, getting to work a little quicker. I don't know.
Well,
It's
they talk about
it's nice.
cycles, though. It's weird because like this, I was looking into this stuff where it's like, okay, maybe you wake up at 9:30 every day, but maybe 9:30 is not the time that you should wake up. Maybe 9:20 or
Mhm.
9:15. That some people just depending on when they go to sleep. I guess there's an app. I can't remember what it's called, but so when you're like laying your head down to go to sleep, you hit the app, and then it'll kind of calculate what your cycle is, and then put your alarm at that time. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think I watch a lot of those vloggers where they talk about waking up at 4:30 every day or 5 o'clock every day, and how it can help.
I don't know about 4:30.
I know. Well, yeah, I think it varies for everybody, but I think that's good though. A little extra pep in your step.
Now, I will say there was one night this week where he had me up at like 1 a.m.
Hmm.
And so then it was a little rough when he woke me up again at 5. But at least I was able to that day, I think that was on Tuesday, so I actually was able to go back and lay down for a little bit, and I think I got about another, half hour of sleep before my alarm went off. But
Well,
hey, it
that's
happens.
the thing about Frank is if he sleeps in the bed with you, then he'll sleep until it's time to wake up. I mean, you could sleep in all day and he'll be like, "I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
sleeping with you." But if he sleeps in his cage, he's like, "Oh, it's 7 o'clock. It's 6:30. Whatever. It's time to use the restroom."
Get me out of here
Yeah.
now.
So yeah,
So,
I'm still at my
no.
kitchen table right now. I
Oh, yeah?
ordered my desk. I'm excited. I'm
What'd you
excited.
order? Where are you getting it from? Something
It's
somewhere fancy?
it's actually a music company that makes a lot of software, in the box music gears, like
Yeah.
synthesizers and all that stuff, and they're just realizing that there's really cheap. Now when I say cheap, I'm saying cheaply made for $100 to $700. Everything that's on the market right now is super cheap and janky. And then the the desk, well, I mean, you've seen it. It's huge. It's kind of like a console almost
Yeah.
that I bought for the garage. That one is super heavy, and it took forever to get here. And they were, I think, 16.99, and
Mm.
it's definitely a better quality than the El Cheapo stuff. You're just not getting anything worth your money for the couple $100. You might as well just buy a desk from Staples or something. You're
Yeah.
not getting anything special. And this company called Output decided there's nobody on the market making good desk. How can we make a good desk? And so they put one out about the $600 range. But it's quality. It's probably better than the $1,600 one that I have. But the $1,600 one that I have, because it's taken so long for them to fill the orders, they jacked up the price to $3,500.
What?
Yeah, they're like, you know what?
What?
We we can't make these fast enough, so thirty
So
five hundred bucks if you want one.
We're gonna price ourselves out, and if you really want one, then we'll go ahead and get it out for you.
Yeah, and this one's simpler.
Wow.
It's definitely simpler, but it has some of the features where you can put actual like recording gear into the desk where you screw it into the desk, and it also has the place for the like your keyboard controller and your piano. And a lot
Yeah.
of people were everybody I talked to is like, why the hell, when you have this little garage studio in your house, why would you want another desk? But it's I do a lot of work down there, and then I just kind of I just once I'm done for the day down there, I shut the door, and I just don't want to go back down there. And when I'm practicing music or writing music or doing anything, I'm always at my kitchen table, and that's just getting old because it's like I just want to look over at my kitchen table and see nothing. I
Yeah.
just want to see the table, not
Yeah.
computers and gear and guitars and all that stuff. So that's the goal. Is I have a room upstairs that I call the treehouse, and so that's going to be um, like a little more of a like a music room. So that's where I plan on doing the Captain and Morgan show from.
I absolutely love that room. It's probably my favorite
Yeah,
room.
it's one of the reasons why I bought my house because it has a balcony off of the room, and I thought what a cool place to put an office, especially if you're working during the day, to be able to see daylight and not be in like a dungeon, but to step outside on the balcony and hang out for a minute and not just I don't know, it just seems a little more relaxing.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Awesome. So, yeah, I was thinking about this week because last week we did our little, I guess, Crime Con recap
Mhm.
show, and there was one story that I completely forgot about, but it might have been one of my favorite stories of the week. If you don't mind me bringing it up, nothing bad. Uh, and I was
It's
actually
all bad.
surprised. So, so Sunday after Crime Con finished, we were out at lunch with Paige Mr. Herman, Alex, and then Mullet Kelly was there.
Mhm.
And you told a story which I had never heard before, and it was also something that I had no idea about you, which is your
Oh,
love of Dawson's Creek.
oh yeah, it's the Dawson Creek the adventures of Dawson's Creek. The whole milestone of I mean, should I tell the whole story?
No, no, let's cliff notes. So let me
It's
see if I got
impossible to do the cliff notes because then everybody's like, "What?"
Okay, so here,
Okay.
your senior year, right?
Senior year. Mhm.
Okay, and I'm gonna try to
1999.
1999. I'm trying to recall the whole story. I think I know the whole story. But 1999, I was gone. I graduated.
Were you at Ohio State?
I was at Ohio State. You were stuck with your class, which you had a lot of upperclassmen friends.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you had some people you graduated with that were close friends. But in our high school, we had uh, what was called the senior balcony, which was basically I don't even know. It was basically well, it was a balcony that sat above the cafeteria where all the seniors could go and sit up there.
Right. So the freshman, sophomore, and juniors would sit in the low level, and then you could go up the steps and you'd sit. And it was a small section. It wasn't
It was
huge.
small.
And the seniors were allowed to sit up there. It was like a privilege. But
Well, I remember you sitting up there with me, but when you were not a senior, but that's
I
another
sat up
story.
there pretty much I think I sat up there for like a whole semester my freshman year. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me. And then at one point, I don't know if you were in that class, but it was like me, Goldie, uh, I think Nick was maybe even in that class. I mean, he was in your grade, 98. Nick was there, a bunch of people, but there were seniors, and we didn't sit up there for whatever reason. They're just like, whatever, who gives a crap about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I don't I don't think you know what, whatever, I'm not gonna yeah, I don't think I sat there a whole lot because whatever.
mhm.
So anyways, senior year, you were sitting up there and,
Well, I go to sit up there and I realize, oh shit, this is like freshman year all over again. Like, who am I going to sit with? I mean, but I was a loud kid, so it wasn't like people didn't know me. You
yeah,
know, it wasn't like they knew me because they thought I was awesome. I was just loud enough that people knew me. But I remember thinking, oh God, like I don't hang out with these. I don't hang out with my classmates every week. Like I do. Like I was growing up on campus. Starting senior year. So
yeah.
my friend that used to be in a band with me, Jason, it said, "Hey." He kind of saw me like lost like a deer in headlights, and he's like, Come sit with us." And so I sat down at his table, and it was a bunch of guys I played soccer with, and I knew everybody at the table, and they all knew me. But they were talking about Dawson's Creek, and I had no clue what they're talking about. And some of their girlfriends were there, so it was like a lot of couples, and then a couple single dudes, but they all had girlfriends, so they were all. I couldn't tell if they're watching Dawson's Creek because they wanted to, or if their girlfriends were making them. But I just remember thinking, I have to watch Dawson's Creek because if I don't, I won't have anything to talk about. It's kind of like when all your friends get into like a certain podcast,
Yeah.
or yeah, and then you got all your friends listening to True Crime Garage, and then you're like, ah, shit, now I gotta listen to those idiots. So I know what's going on.
Yeah, so you can be a part of the group and you can be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, and yeah, so it came on at like I want to say 8 o'clock on the WB on Wednesdays, 8 to 9. Then I think 9 to 10 was Seventh Heaven, and I watched. I mean, it was like a big thing. Like I remember telling my high school girlfriend, "We have to watch this." I went and got Tim Hortons because Tim Hortons was kind of a new thing in our town, and I got some French vanilla cappuccinos, which took back in the day. If you got a French vanilla cappuccino, like it wasn't safe to drink for 30 to 40 minutes. That's how ridiculously hot these were. So we I don't know if it was my father's house or if we went over to her house, but I remember very clearly getting Tim Hortons and having to watching Dawson's Creek and trying to figure out. And I remember watching it going, oh, that's that. Okay, that's Dawson. Okay, oh, that's Pacey. I couldn't figure out if Pacey was a guy or a girl like during the conversation. So it's like, oh, Pacey's a guy, and then Joey. I was also didn't know if it was a guy or a girl. So I watched that, and then I remember my girlfriend from high school saying, it's like I still remember this conversation. Like we were driving. It wasn't that far from my father's house to her parents' house, maybe like 2 or 3 turns, but at least like 10 minutes of a drive. But I remember like her driving and she drove past the dance studio and she told me that she used to be really into dance and that she wanted to get back into dance. And so I think we watched like I don't remember how many episodes, but it wasn't that many, like 2 or 3. And then she started dancing, so then I, like, watched a couple by myself, but I know I probably missed some weeks, but at least I knew the characters so I could be in the conversation, and then all of a sudden, she changed, like, one of her classes, and next thing you know, she was now in my lunch class with a bunch of people. I believe your ex high school girlfriend was in my class in that lunch period now, so that's became my new table. And we didn't really talk about Dawson's Creek. And I always kind of wanted to know what the hell happened to those crazy kids. Yeah. So okay. So, anyways, I really want to know what happened. So once I was going through I mean, I always thought of like, because my sister, which is, a good amount younger than I am, she was into it a little bit, but I remember her like watching like the DVDs, like maybe when I was like in college or just out of college or something. Like I remember like sometimes like stopping over to like my parents' house and she'd be watching old reruns of Dawson's Creek and me thinking, I really want to know what happened. And so after my divorce, I decided I I wanted to get these DVD sets, and but you could also at the time it was supposed to be on Netflix, and this is like when Netflix was nothing. Like most people, I was like, "What's Netflix?" And people are like, "I don't know, never heard of it." And so I found out like through Googling that Netflix just pulled them off at the time. So I had to buy them, but like to get the DVDs shipped to me was going to take forever. So decided to download them off of iTunes, which each season was like, I think the first season was cheaper, but that's because it was smaller. Then the second season was like a lot more. But I was using this like weird data because I was in Richmond, Indiana at the time. I was using this weird data that cost a ton of money, but I didn't really know I was using it. Um, because I was coming home on the weekends, so I'd download a bunch of episodes on the weekends. Well, halfway through the week, I'd be flying through these episodes. Now they're 45 minutes per episode, so I mean, you know, it took some time to
Yeah.
get through these, but then so halfway through the week, once I caught up, I'd have to start using this data, and I don't know. I think there's 8 or 9 seasons, and let's say each one of them costs like $50. I mean, that's a lot of money, 400 and some dollars.
On Dawson's Creek.
No, that's just to download them. So then on
Oh.
top, that's just to buy them. But on top of that, I got hit with like I don't know, it was like $500-600 like over your usage data charge. And I was just like, what the, you know? And but that's where I thought it stopped. And I was like, okay, well, I ended up watching it all because I thought it was going to teach me some kind of lesson. And that was the thing. Like I started for years, probably about 10 years, I really started thinking there was a reason why I was in that lunch class. There was a reason why I knew Jason. There was a reason why he called me over. There's a reason why they all watched it. And there was a reason why I should have watched it. And I really did like who I was in high school. Like I liked how I treated other people.
Mhm.
I I had some interesting thoughts at the time. I didn't worry much about things. I kind of just went with the flow.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people are in bands in high school, and I feel like me being in a rock band in high school was a really good experience because I've talked to so many guys that were like, "Yeah, man, we were in a band in high school, and then we just wanted to make it. Like we didn't rehearse, we just wanted to make it, and we were kind of different because we rehearsed on Thursday and Sunday, and we did it every week, and everybody revolved their schedules around that. And every now and then we'd play a gig, but we didn't like sit around talking about like making it or like becoming multimillionaires. I mean, it just really wasn't something we talked about. So I just
Yeah.
felt like, you know, all this stuff happened for a reason, and and that somehow Dawson's Creek would give me um some something like there was some reason I was supposed to watch it, and it's 9 seasons. I should look that up real quick, but I think it's 9. I think it's
Here.
yeah. Look it up real quick.
All right. Dawson's Creek.
I know the first season's small. It's a shorter season, like half as many,
6.
but
6 seasons.
it's only 6 seasons.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, 2000
Dawson's Creek.
98 to 2003.
Yeah, but they might have more okay, number of seasons, 6.
6.
Jeez. Where am I getting 9 from?
I don't. Well, it was that important to you that you just added on 3 new seasons that no one else has seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, how many
That's why you spent so much on Dawson's Creek. You bought 3 seasons that didn't exist.
that don't even exist. Well, what is, how many episodes per season? I know it's different for the first one. I love how it says, like, Dawson's Creek concept.
13, 22, 23, 23, 23.
Okay, so what's 23 times 45? Let's figure this out.
Man,
So
we gotta do
23 times, what was it?
45. That's
1,035 hours, so or minutes, so divided by
minutes.
60, that's 17
hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, so let's just say would take you, with bathroom breaks and everything, 24 hours. With bathroom breaks, lunch breaks, all that stuff, right?
Mm.
So that's a lot. I mean, I guess you could get through it, well, if you didn't sleep. You could get through it in 2 weeks, but it would be a challenge. I mean, that we should come up with a challenge, like a Dawson's Creek challenge, where you start season 1 on a Sunday and you got 2 weeks to get through it. And you can't call off work. You can't call off work. You can't say, like, no, I'm not going in on Thursday and Friday. I got this beat. No,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it would be a challenge, because maybe you could get, what do we say, about 18 hours. Maybe you could get 5 hours a day in, maybe 6.
Well, 6. I think 6 is easy. You can probably do more than that, but let's say 6.
Right.
Right?
But then, like, the next month, I got charged with another, like, $700 and some for going over.
Oh, God.
More. No. When I decided to cancel whatever the thing was, they're like, you still have a back. I mean, in total, I don't know how much, but I do know that a couple times I drove back to Columbus.
Yeah.
So I could, actually use Wi-Fi and not have to use the data. And so it's like, it probably cost me about $2,000 to watch 6 seasons of Dawson's Creek. And here's what drove me nuts was, I think 2 months after I watched it all, it went back onto Netflix. Like, oh, it's for free on Netflix again. I'm like, son of a. And I mean, I'm not making much money at the time.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, like, $2,000 was like a lot of money. And I never learned anything. I never figured out what the thing was.
So let's say you spent. So how much you think you spent in total?
About $2,000.
About $2,000. You spent. Let's see. So all 6 seasons is about, we'll say, 95 hours. How many times did you watch it?
Well, I watched it all twice, for sure.
Okay, so
I mean, I've watched pieces and parts. Once it got on Netflix, I watched pieces and parts. So, but let's just say two seasons.
Okay, so 190 hours worth of Dawson's Creek.
Twice.
$2,000 twice. Yeah,
right.
$2,000 in charges. You learn nothing.
Well, I did learn something, but it took me.
It took you
5 years after watching both episodes or both seasons.
But here's the point: 190 hours, $2,000 in charges.
Yeah,
and we sit here and wonder why your marriage failed.
Well,
that was it, wasn't it?
This was after my marriage.
Oh, okay.
This was. I mean, I had a lot of time because I was divorced. So
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes more sense. I'm like, yeah, if you're sitting there like Captain, it's like, you got to go to work, man. And like, no, I got to see what's going to happen with Pacey and Joey.
Yeah, old Pacey. No, Dawson and Pacey. Those were the main guys. Joey, whatever.
But
whatever. Joey Schmoey.
Joey and Pacey were the better couple. Let's be honest.
What?
They were good together.
No, it's funny. It's like when I watched it the second time around, like the first. I mean, what's difficult is, first of all, within like 10 minutes of the first episode, they say genitalia. Which if you're a Primus fan, you're like, "Ha ha ha, genitalia," because that's the word Les would use instead of anything else. But I think the reason why I was drawn to the show when I was in high school was that they actually talked like college students, and I really was looking forward. I think I had some really cool and smart friends, and
Yeah.
and when they graduated, I missed that. I mean,
Oh, I
we
miss you too.
goofed around. No, I was talking about the other. I wasn't talking about
Oh,
you.
oh, okay.
I'm talking about like the core because you were like on the outskirts. You weren't.
Oh, thanks.
Am I wrong?
No, no, not at all. I did
I
my own
said,
thing.
well, you were new too, so it
Yes,
wasn't.
that's true.
But like especially, I think it was my junior year, especially that lunch period, hanging out with Gamble and Goldie
Mhm.
and Paul
Yeah,
and all those guys. Like they were very unique characters, and they were all pretty smart, and they all had like a a healthy drive to them. Like they had these projects that they were working on that probably meant nothing to really anybody else, but they did them, and then they did mean stuff to other people, you know. But
yeah.
they're very unique characters, and I was so looking forward to like, oh, what is college like? And I watched movies like remember the movie Higher Learning,
Oh, yep,
and
yep.
I just watched movies like that and think that when we got to college, like it was going to be this. Like, I was gonna learn so much, and not just so much, inside the classroom, but outside the classroom as well, and some of that happened, but I remember the
Yeah.
I remember remember the first, like, conversation I got in at my college, and this guy got pissed off at me, and he was like, "Well, you're stupid, you don't know anything, I'm gonna kick your ass," or something, like, within minutes of, like, being in college, and it's like, "Oh, this is what it is?" Like, I thought it was gonna be a lot cooler than this.
It's high school.
Yeah, but it's,
It
like, weird, though, because, like, my freshman year, we had a lot of freshman year of high school, I had a lot of seniors, and this is a really cool period of time, like, the '90s, there was a lot of people focusing on music and not we don't have that many bands now. Back then, we could probably name 20 bands easily of the 90s.
yeah.
Easily. And it would be hard to name 20 bands. It'd be easier to name 20 bands from the 90s than it would be to name 5 bands of today.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and and so to have these I remember like sitting around like our go-to movie was Mallrats, and
Mhm.
we would like be in somebody's house and we'd watch Mallrats, and we'd be sitting around gossiping about whatever. But there was also some deep conversations about religion, um, and and marriage and relationships and some pretty like complex stuff for high school kids to sit around and talk about. And that then the next day I could be at a bonfire with a different set of my friends and same type of thing, and everybody kind of trying to one up each other, either in the intelligence realm or try to one up each other on like some crazy story that has happened to us.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
once I got to college, like it just I just didn't find those people. It was a lot of, and I thought, especially as a musician, I'm going to find these people where it's going to be, and I think I was just out on the outside of the circles I needed to be a part of. But the guys that I was hanging out with were like more worried about drinking some beer and hooking up with chicks.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking about that now, like, thinking back to college, I think I was more lost than in college than I was in high school. I think
Yeah.
I don't wanna say I knew myself in high school, but, uh, going from high school to college, the world kinda turned upside down, and I just kinda I just kinda well, I don't wanna say went along with everything, but pretty much it's kinda like I was there. I was just there. I never really
Yeah.
lived it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
just
and I
kind
think
of
yeah, we were kinda talking about that earlier this week. Is like, you can be alive, that doesn't mean you're living, you know? Like,
yeah.
and, like, the guys I was talking about, like, the outside of the circle, that's not our friends because, you know, we became a lot closer when you moved up on campus, and once you moved up on campus, again, there was some of those people were the same people in high school. Now we're
Yes.
just in a different environment, and now we're drinking, and we just didn't have a lot of in-depth conversations about things, and maybe that's because there was so much going on in our lives as far as, like, we had to work and we had to go to school, and
Yeah.
it just was like when we did see each other, it was more fun and just kinda goofing around, and a lot of great memories, like, tons of great memories, of that time period. But I remember, like, kinda longing for that, and not that it never happened with our group, but, like, people that I met outside of our group, it didn't happen too often, and yeah. I think and some people would be like, "Oh, yeah, Dawson's Creek's so lame." But and one of the lines too, Pacey says, I think it's in the first episode because this new teacher comes to town and she is pretty hot and he is all about her. And there's a huge age gap. And what's sad is like you can see how big of the age gap is. They could have like picked a younger teacher and, so they're kinda flirty with each other, and then she finds out he's a high school student, and she went through a bad divorce, and anyways, he's a virgin, but he, like, turns to her at one point, and he's like, "I'm the best sex she'll never have," or something. It's, like, the worst line, and it's so awful, but it's weird, though, too, because as intelligent as these kids seem, they have really immature, high school drama.
Yeah.
So it's very weird because some of the but I really did think I was supposed to learn something, and then I watched it again, and it was a lot harder to watch the second time because the first time, even the dumb storylines and stuff like that, you really kinda get into it, like, what's gonna happen next? And there
Yeah.
was those episodes where it kinda left you, like, with a cliffhanger, and you're like, "Yes, let's watch the next episode." You know those Netflix moments where you're like, "Oh, shit, time for part 2." But every now and then, that's what makes shows like, you ever watch Black Mirror?
I've watched some of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, like, Black Mirror is unbelievable. It's so freaking good. The problem is you watch one episode and it stops. So that you kind of feel complete. So then you can move on to the next episode. You don't have to move on to the next episode. You're complete in that sitting. So Black Mirror is better, I think, to watch. Like you watch one and turn it off, and then do whatever, and then maybe watch one another day. But there's something about those shows, like Friends from College. I don't know if you've seen that series, but it's great. 2 seasons, hilarious, smart, great actors, but it's one of those things where you watch your 30-minute episode, 40-minute episode, and then you're like, "Oh, can't wait to see what happens on the next one." And it's like 8 episodes, and they put them all out at once, so you can watch that in one day if you're dedicated.
Yeah.
So, um, so the first time around watching Dawson's was a lot faster because it was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next?" And the second time watching it was like, I don't know about this. Why am I watching this? A lot of thinking about what, and I did start it again at one point, like probably like a year later. Again, thinking, what did I miss? Did I miss something? And I think I got like 2 or 3 episodes. I was like, oh, this is off. I can't watch this anymore. So yeah, that's my obsession with Dawson's Creek.
Nice. Thank you.
It's kind of like
And
Freaks and Geeks, though. Like, you ever watch Freaks and
oh,
Geeks?
I loved it. Yeah. I love Freaks and Geeks. It didn't get the service it needed. Ended too
No.
soon.
But that's the thing though about like Freaks and Geeks, like, because that would have started, I believe, after Dawson's, uh, and that started around the same time at like that '70s show, and I think all three of those, like, I don't know, there's something like you said, you don't know for sure if you knew yourself in high school,
Mhm.
but what you did know of yourself, you liked. Uh, and I know not everybody's like that. Some people have really difficult times in high school. Mine
Yeah.
became, like you said, you get to college and you feel a little lost. And I felt lost for a long time. And I think that's when my depression really started kicking in because, and at that time, I think it was just like situational depression, like I'm lost and I can't figure this out. I'm having a real hard time, getting a handle on all this stuff. And then it also doesn't help that you're new to drinking
Yep.
and alcohol is a downer. So next thing you know, you're like, well, I drank Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And let's be
And then
honest.
I felt like shit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Well,
then
why did you feel bad?
when you get to college too, the other thing is dating becomes a whole new beast, right? It's completely different. Y
Yeah.
you don't have that you're not walking down the hall and you see some girl that you have a crush on and you don't hand her some little love letter, say, "Hey, you're
Hey,
cute.
girl.
You want to date? Hey, girl." Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't
Hey,
happen.
I woke up feeling dangerous, girl. I no, I still remember. His name was Tom Arthur and Nick Albert, and they were driving me
Yeah.
home, and we went through the housing development, and then we're on Kingston. I think we're on Kingston,
Mhm. Okay,
and
yeah.
and I, same type of thing. Saw this girl walking down the hall a couple times. We made eyes with each other, like, oh, I gotta say hi to her. Well, we're driving somewhere, and I see her walking. I'm assuming to her house. And I
Mhm.
remember telling my friend, "Stop the car," and I got out, like,
Yeah,
"Hey, it's me from the hallway," and it's you shake hands and exchange numbers, and boom,
that
and
works in high school.
that works in high school, and if you did that in college, they would like file charges against you,
Yeah,
like,
you get maced and they'll call the police.
yeah, but that's when it's also weird too because you start dating people that you work with, which is a whole different ball game.
Never works out. Well, I don't wanna say it never works out.
Well,
Never works
somebody
out for
gets
me.
fired, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody gets fired, and then maybe it works out, but,
It was never
oh,
me, though. It's always them.
yeah, there's they always got fired.
Oh,
No, but like, that becomes a thing, like and then it also becomes, like, a thing of, like, where did you meet her? Like, you never got that question when you're in high school. They just
yeah.
nobody ever asked me, "So where did you guys meet?"
Yeah.
"Well, jazz band, period 1." You know? Then it becomes,
Yeah.
"Where did you guys meet?" Yeah.
I would my story is, I was on a date with another girl, and I was drunk, and that's how I met my wife. She wasn't the girl I was on a date with.
How does that happen?
The date sucked?
So the
I don't
dates
know. No,
so
it
what
was weird.
so
It
you went on a date.
so I went on a date,
Where
and,
to?
uh, Metro. You remember Metro?
No,
You don't
but
remember Metro?
I'm not that cool, so
So this was a place, it was on, like, High Street, like, in the, like, Brewery District.
okay.
And so going to Metro and, uh, I think it was like a Wednesday or Thursday night, whatever.
Yeah,
And so I go and, it turns out, like, a bunch of our friends were there, like the D'Angelos and stuff.
yeah,
And so I see them, I start talking to them a little bit, and, um, at some point, I saw another friend, who I've known forever. She was there, and she was with, Aaron. And so we started talking, when at one point I so, you graduate with Aaron, she went to our high school. I didn't know her, but I recognized her,
yeah.
And so, but I didn't know where from or who she was. So then I ended up asking like Ben. I said, "Hey, who is this? Who is this?" And he told me, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I just kind of left it in the back of my head. And so, we talked a little bit. Um, I ended up, finishing out the date, going, and then after the date, went home. I never saw that girl again. And I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months later, I get a phone call from the friend that was there with Aaron. Said, "Hey, my birthday. You want to come hang out? Hey, Aaron's there. He's gonna be there." So
Right. So that's
and
why
then
you were.
yeah, no, yeah. So we met at a bar while I was on a date.
Mm.
I don't want to say the date was. I don't want to say the date was bad, but it was one of those dates where you were there and you just knew that it wasn't going anywhere.
I don't want to say the date was bad.
It just wasn't. It just wasn't going anywhere.
What, are you afraid you're going to hurt her feelings? You already married somebody. if her feelings were hurt, they're already hurt by now.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say it was bad.
Bad. All
She
right.
didn't. She didn't try to give you a hand job underneath the table.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, I told you I went to that bookstore one time, and this girl, she wouldn't stop trying to give me a hand job in the bookstore. It was
Jesus Christ.
the weirdest date I've ever been on. I mean,
What was that her thing? Was that her little fetish?
I don't know. I realized that she was probably nuts. And that's women get very, not all women, but the smart women don't get upset because I have a couple. I like to have simple philosophies, and I think all women are they're a tad crazy, and that could be a good crazy or a bad crazy, but all men are stupid, and that's just fact, So
Yeah.
it's a rough combination, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, so it was it's the weirdest thing because I kept thinking that she's trying to give me a hand job in the bookstore, and I became obsessed like probably weeks before hanging out at this bookstore. I became obsessed with this writer David Foster Wallace.
Uh-huh.
And when I was playing guitar like a long time ago, I put these handkerchiefs in my back pocket. And normally I had the handkerchief because I like to wipe down the guitar afterwards, but I like to keep it out of my pocket because I thought it looked kind of cool. Well, he used to wear these bandanas, so I went and found all my bandanas and tied the little knots like I used to and put in my back pocket. So I just started doing this like a week or so before the date. And so it was like, okay, we'll meet up at this bookstore. And we get there. She's trying to give me a hand job. I got this handkerchief in my back pocket. She starts talking about David Foster Wallace. And I'm like obsessed with him at that point. And now I'm going, okay, I was trying to get out of this situation because she was trying to, play with my ball sack while we're looking at books. She was trying to play with my ball sack. But now she's like talking my language, and I'm like thinking, oh my God, she is, she's into this author, and I'm into the author, and she knows so much about him, and it really started like making me like question my initial gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, you have to go with your gut feeling. What's the rule? Men are stupid. That's the rule. Men are stupid. What are you? You're a man. What are you? You're stupid, right? So don't be trapped by this. You're gonna buy her a book, and you're gonna get a book, and you're gonna say goodnight, get out of there, so she doesn't play with your ball sack. And then it turned a hard left turn into Crazy Town, and she just started like bitching about everything and everyone to the point where it was like, wow, you're Captain Negative Pants. And it was so that was enough. And I remember like
Yeah.
the whole purpose of going to this bookstore was there's a couple restaurants around the corner, and there's a couple coffee shops and things like that. And so that was kind of the plan. We'll meet there and then, um, go to get coffee or whatever. And we never got coffee
Yeah.
because we paid for the stuff. And then she's like, "All right, so you want to get coffee or a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm just going to go home. I
So
think I'm
that
just going to get out of here."
so basically what you're saying is that was
Yeah.
a supposedly fun thing that you'll never do again.
Yeah, it's a supposedly fun thing that I'll never do again. But yeah, which that's a title of a David Foster Wallace.
A supposedly fun thing
Yeah,
I'll never do again.
yep. One of his essays, right?
Yeah, it's a collection of
Yeah,
essays.
collection of essays. If you want to hear something really cool, like look up on YouTube David Foster Wallace. This is Water. And it's a really cool breakdown on life and the choices that we make in life and things that we can't control in life. But those choices that we make in life will make all the other things that we can't control that much better. And so somebody should find a link and post that. And look, I know there's a bunch of people going right now. The captain said women are crazy, not in a bad way. I'm just saying, I'm starting with men are dumb, and women can be crazy, and those are my simple rules. Break it down because men do some of the dumbest shit ever, and it's mostly the dumbest shit we normally do is most of the time for a woman. Not that they're at fault for that, but that's how dumb we are. So yeah, that's yeah. And I didn't want her to play with my ball sack. I if I was going to ever do a weekly podcast of my own, I probably could just do. I'd have to just start like recording now and I could just captain stories because it takes me a long time to get through everyone because I remember a lot of details. I remember the first time like her fingertips actually, probably hit sack was in the religious section. And I remember thinking, this ain't good. God's looking.
Was it Book Loft?
Yes, it was Book Loft.
Oh, there are plenty of places for that in Book Loft.
Well, and how many rooms do they claim there are?
Oh.
27 rooms. 27 rooms that she has a chance to play with your ball sack.
Yeah.
This episode should be called Dawson's Creek's Ball Sack, which actually James Vanderbeek calls the purple-headed yogurt slinger. That's one of the best lines of any movie from Varsity Blues when they ask him, what do you call it? Pulling the pud, blah, 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 blah. Then he says, purple-headed yogurt slinger. It's like one of the most... I just remember like thinking like, that is disgusting. And so true. And she wanted to play with my ball sack.
Man, so we're about an hour in. We haven't even talked about anything true crime related.
Well, that's what happens. But I got a hard out. I mean, we'll take it another 4 minutes. If we get a couple thumbs ups, I don't even know if I'm in the right chat room group. Where'd I go? If we just go to, if we get a couple thumbs up, we'll go a little bit longer, right?
We were going to have a little guest with us, but
did they not show up?
No, they're here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Lawrence is here?
Lawrence, hold on. Yeah, so our good friend from Paradise After Dark podcast.
Lawrence.
Hey.
I actually listened to Lauren's podcast earlier today.
What'd you think?
I mean, she's a lot better than Ken, No, they're really good.
Can we just start calling Lauren's husband instead of Ken?
I think he works hard. He's deserved to be called Ken.
Yeah, he's slinging that propane day in and day out.
he, he he sure is actually from
Lauren,
propane slinging.
Lauren sounds drunk.
Are you still drunk from New Orleans?
I'm no,
Oh,
I'm not.
oh no, your phone's breaking up on us.
Mine is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's making you sound like Max Headroom.
Doesn't this go through internet, not phone?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So that just means my internet. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you now. Oh
So-
man. So I don't know if we're even going to talk about what we're going to talk about, but whatever. So what do you think of the case this week, Lauren?
I liked it because I was obsessed with the case when it first happened. Like, because that
Yeah.
happened like right in the middle of all the completely obsessed with the Casey Anthony stuff. So then the Haleigh Cummings happened. So of course I got completely obsessed with that one too, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, and they were so close together that I think that's. I really think what happened was the media was like, shit, we got our next big break, and this is something that we're going to be able to talk about and keep the train going, because I guarantee you Nancy Grace's ratings were unbelievable at that point. I mean, like everybody I talked to was like, I'm watching the Casey Anthony every night, and I'm like, Jesus, like I remember like sometimes having to stay at home like on a Saturday night because Casey Anthony was on, and there was always some breaking news with that case.
Well, I think what started it off was it was during the Nancy Grace show, and she had it going live the very first time Casey Anthony was arrested. So they had it live, her coming out of the house in handcuffs, and that just is what kickstarted Nancy Grace's whole thing on Top Mom.
Yeah, old Top Mom.
Now, did I hear it right that the day that Haleigh went missing, was it the day that she went missing, or was the day after that was Haleigh's memorial service?
Yeah, it was the day after.
Jesus.
So it's the first day that like because the call happened in like the early morning, like the 911 call. So it was like the first, like that's what I'm saying. Like these people were like right around the corner doing the memorial for Casey Anthony or Kaylee Anthony, and then going, hey, right around the corner is another story. But people started losing interest really quick once they start hearing that drugs are involved and things like that.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't care if there's drugs or not. I mean, this is a 5-year-old girl who I think we can all say was killed one way or the other, and just because of her upbringing or their lack thereof, you were just going to ignore it.
No, but I think it's less interesting in the public's eyes. And it's just like when I've been noticing a big shift. Like one of the things people always would say is, man, that Brandon Lawson story is so fascinating to me. And now that you have people coming forward and his brother and friends coming forward and saying he was for sure on drugs and he was probably on methamphetamines, that people just are not as interested in the outcome, because once you add that part of the story, you start going, okay, well, I could see him getting lost, and I could see maybe an accident happening by the river. So now it gives you more of a sense of a conclusion, and people are just not as interested. So you take a case like Casey Anthony, which was interesting because there was drugs happening and there was drinking happening, and I think that has a direct link to Kayleigh's death. But in this case, people are like, yeah, they live in a trailer. Yeah, they're all on drugs. Like, but to me, it's still a fascinating story. But I think because you have multiple people that are suspects that were on again, off again drug addicts, you you kind of come to the conclusion faster that one of them probably did something stupid, and because of their drug use, and there you go. I mean, we don't know which one, but that's kind of a likely scenario. And I think the cases that people are more fascinated by are the ones where there isn't a direct, A, B, C, possibly solved. Because it's like, in the Haleigh Cummings case, it's like, the dad might have been on drugs, therefore he killed her, therefore she's dead. The girlfriend could have been on drugs, therefore she, you know what I mean? Like, there's just all those people, and I think people find those cases less interesting. It's like some people aren't fascinated by like the Brian Schaefer case because he was completely intoxicated. So to them, they go, he's intoxicated, therefore he's intoxicated, he's close to water, therefore he probably drowned in the water accidentally.
He didn't.
No, but what I'm saying is
Yeah,
some people
I'm
take
still
an ABC.
fascinated by that.
Well, but I am too. But if you told me that he was on methamphetamines that night, I probably wouldn't be as interested. And I don't know. It's hard to judge.
It's
I
just
think-
like the human condition. You're just more like with Brandon Lawson. I'll be honest. As soon as I can't remember what podcast it was on, but the first one that had his brother on, and
Crawlspace,
then,
I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably was Crawlspace, and we learned all that stuff. I was like, oh, well, he probably just like got lost in the woods or something like that, and
Well,
that was
also
my
when
first thought.
Well, yeah, and also when you find out there's 350 to 450 pound wild boars that are known to attack humans and also known to eat, like if a human died, that
They would eat
actually,
every piece of it.
right. And so then it becomes even more, yes, legally blonde is typed in wild boars. Yeah.
Not in Kansas anymore.
But yeah, no, and also it's like, Mr. Fisterface. Yeah, the Chili's proposal, that what got me. I'm down in Florida and we proposed at a Chili's. Well, we went out to Chili's for a couple drinks. And then
Get them big back ribs.
I looked over at my 17-year-old bride to be, and I said, "Hey, girl, you want to get married? You want to marry me or what?"
Well, you know what? I actually had a theory on that earlier. I was talking to Morgan about it, and I wonder if they quickly got married because
they couldn't testify against each other.
Yes, exactly.
But there's actually
that was my first thought.
But there's a loophole in Florida where you can actually testify against your spouse.
Is there?
Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna need information on that because I know Florida law pretty well, and I've never heard of that.
No, Google it. I found it. If I find it again, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But it's like,
let's be honest though. You think these two were smart enough to know that there was a loophole?
No.
They're not getting on Wikipedia for that.
Right.
But I mean, that would be.
I could be wrong, but we'll have you guys look that up, then everybody can listen to Paradise After Dark to find out the answer.
Paradise After Dark is a podcast about Florida crimes and stuff.
You like to talk about Florida people?
Is that our song?
Yeah, that'd be $50.
$7,000.
Oh, I was gonna charge $50. Yeah, $7,000.
How about breakfast? How about breakfast?
I'll gladly accept that.
No, here's how big idiot Morgan is we can't find my debit card, even though he saw my debit card in an envelope.
I didn't see it.
And then
I saw the envelope.
Hold on. While we're sitting there with these beautiful people that we just met, he did not have to pay for Ubers. He didn't have to pay for a room. He didn't have to pay for his CrimeCon tickets. And you guys did. And he didn't once say, "Hey, let me pay for this."
I was look. I was hungover. I was out of it. I don't think I said one word the whole breakfast because I just wanted to die.
That's true. Why did you want to die? Was it because Laura was there? She wanted
Because
to make
who?
you die. Lauren.
No. Oh no.
That's
Ken.
exactly why. That's
I was
exactly
sitting
why.
next to Ken. No.
I was
No.
sitting next to
It was.
Ken. I was like, I want it over.
I want it over. Just end it now.
End it now. Put me on your podcast.
Oh man,
No,
that was a good time.
I'm
And
still
we
working
weren't
on
even
music for
supposed
you
to
guys.
be. We weren't even supposed to be at that breakfast. I was so hungover. I had to eat something. We're supposed to go see something, and I said no. I don't want to blow it off. I want to go eat breakfast because I feel like I might die, and that's how we ended up there.
Well, it's a good thing you were there because if you weren't, we were going to have to dine and dash.
You guys were going to be in the back doing dishes to pay
No,
for
I was
your
going to have
meal.
to give the cook a hand job. I would have had to touch his ball sack.
I hear Ken in the kitchen laughing his ass off.
I would have had to.
Oh,
I would have had to say, "Hey, let me see your ball sack." That's one of my favorite lines. What do you suck dick for cheeseburgers? That's because at this local McDonald's by my college, the hookers would always be sucking dick and giving hand jobs by the McDonald's
For cheeseburgers?
Well, that's what I'm not sure of. Did they pay them in cash or did they pay them in fries? Hey, how many cheeseburgers for you to touch my ball sack?
we're going to need at least 5 chicken McNuggets.
Let's do a 10-piece nugget on my ball sack.
All
right.
That's
All
fantastic.
right.
Well,
was great.
Well, I'm glad
Lauren,
that we had you on here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We should have got to her earlier. You should have not.
I know.
You should have brought up Dawson's Creek.
We had to talk about Dawson's Creek, though.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think I'm a couple years younger than you, maybe, but I was downright
Maybe 10.
obsessed with that show, like obsessed with it.
Yes.
But I watched it. Like I didn't get the DVDs though. Like I was watching it in my
Live.
bedroom with my,
with the boyfriend.
With my NSYNC posters on the wall.
Oh yeah. So which one were you fans of? Were you at Team Dawson or Team Pacey?
Oh, I was Team Pacey all the way. I thought Dawson
you
was
wanted
kind
to
of...
touch his ball sack.
I thought
Didn't
Dawson
you?
Is this gonna be a new T-shirt
now? Like,
he was such a baby. He was
Yeah.
such an only child. He was such
Yeah.
an only child. That seriously, he was like his character was perfect for being an only child.
yeah.
So you like Joshua Jackson?
Yeah, I do. I had posters.
I
of
said
him on
you
my wall.
liked, and you said I do.
I do. I still do.
like. You
Is he
still want to?
Is he still like in anything?
Yeah, he's in. Well, I don't know if he's still on. He was in a Showtime show, The Affair. He was in that.
Affair, yeah.
Oh,
He was actually pretty. He was really good in that.
You should watch it in your bedroom with your NSYNC posters, just to make Ken jealous. Like, what do you know about Joshua Jackson's ball sack? I have not seen The Affair. I don't think I'd enjoy it though.
Is there nudity? Do you see his ball sack? That's what I want to know.
You see,
Yeah,
Joshua
every
Jackson's
episode.
Okay.
Every episode.
I might
It's like-
call up DirecTV and order Showtime then.
Yeah, I think during the intro when they're like doing all the like starring, and it's just like Joshua Jackson's ball sack. And it's just his ball sack.
Has like a smiley face on it.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys have a website or?
How can we find you?
How can you find us?
Yeah, what's the best way to find you?
Paradise After Dark Podcast on Instagram and at Paradise After Dark Podcast on Facebook.
Ooh.
And at Paradise Dark 239 on Twitter. And
nobody uses Twitter no more.
Paradise After Dark Podcast at gmail.com or paradiseafterdarkpodcast.com or paradiseafterdark.com. We bought both of them.
And it is not a sex podcast.
It's not about sex. No.
Not yet.
Can you hear him?
I heard that.
I heard that.
I can.
I heard that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. When I was real quick, when I was would drive to Florida with my father, since you're in Florida, he would put on the CB radio, and you'd hear guys talking, and this whole one trip down there, it's probably 4 hours of a guy going, I just pulled up next to this hot blonde with some nice titties, and then this other guy would go, I heard that. And then like this other guy would be like, yeah, I just saw this brunette. She had a nice dress on. And then
Oh
you
my
hear, like,
God.
I heard that. And so we got on the CB and got on the same channels as him. And after he'd say, I heard that, we'd go, I heard that too. And that was in Florida. So, you know,
Oh,
everybody in
that's funny.
Florida is crazy.
One of our big listeners that we chit chat with a lot is a long haul truck driver, and he listens to our podcast. So I'm totally gonna have to tell him that he has to. This is gonna go on YouTube, right?
I heard that. Yeah.
I heard it. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. I'm totally gonna send him the link so he can listen to your Florida
That's a big
trucking
10-4.
story.
You'll have to listen to 2 hours of Dawson's Creek talk, 1 hour of ball sack talk, and then 30 seconds of I heard that talk. All right, let's wrap it up on Butt Radio. Thanks, Lauren, for joining us. Next time when you join us, we'll have you come in at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, and we'll let you talk.
We'll
let you talk an hour straight, and we'll just take a nap.
Yeah, we'll just take a nap.
I'll find something really interesting to talk about.
Like butts, BUTT Radio, Butt Radio, all the butts, all the time. Lauren's butt, Ken. That's her butt's name, Ken. It's 72 degrees outside and 69 in my pants.
Oh my gosh.
And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, Captain, is there a way that people can find Captain and Morgan on the internets these days?
They can go to Instagram.
They can absolutely go to Instagram. Anywhere else?
YouTube's.
They can go to YouTube.
YouTube's. Go
anywhere else?
Old episodes.
Where else can they go, Captain? They can go to captainandmorgan.com.
Boom.
Now, what is up, y'all? You can go and see some stuff on websites.
Yeah, and you can hear, we have Butt Radio, but we also have our sister channel, Nutsack Radio. We want to thank Alex, Amanda, Caitlin, Cherry, Dark Paradise,
Ken,
Jenny, Laura, Legally Blonde, Maddie, Miss D Fire, Mr. Fisterface. That's a great name. Paige and Mr. Herman. Can't say Paradise After Dark. PB&J. Yeah, Lawrence. Check out their podcast. Great people. The Zoe joining us live. Remember, be good to people. Give people hugs. Don't give them dirty looks. Toodaloo.
Love you, Captain.